Corroborated the wrestler's allegations in his testimony to the Delhi police. He spoke to us a short while ago. I'm going to have him live just a short while from now. Jagbir Singh narrates the photo shoot incident and said that he did see Brij Bhushan standing next to a wrestler and behave inappropriately, adding that there were many other instances as well where he has made women wrestlers feel deeply uncomfortable. However, in the midst of all of this, the BJP MP Brij Bhushan Sharan has said he will break his silence now post the filing of a charge sheet for which a deadline of sorts which has been discussed between the wrestlers and the government is 15th of June. Now, as per sources, one female wrestler complainant was taken to Brij Bhushan's office for recreating the crime scene by the Delhi police officials as well. Remember, earlier on June 7th, after meeting the sports minister, Anurag Thakur with the wrestlers, met the wrestlers, where the wrestlers suspended their protest till the 15th of June. All right, joining me right now is Jagbir Singh. He is one of the key eyewitnesses. There are over 100 eyewitnesses that have been put forth by the wrestlers. He is one of them. He's joining us now. He is a referee now, an international referee where wrestling is concerned. Earlier on, he's also been the coach of the India men's team. I spoke to him a short while ago. Jagbir ji, बहुत शुक्रिया सर आप हमसे जुड़े. एक की आई विटनेस कहते हैं आप, वो हैं इस पूरे केस में. जगबीर जी, सबसे पहले आप यही बताइएगा, क्या आपने कभी ब्रिज भूषण शरण को फिजिकली सेक्सुअली अब्यूज करते हुए देखा है महिलाओं को? कोई वाकया है जो आपको बिल्कुल याद है?
लखनऊ में 25 मार्च 2022 की एक घटना है. एशिया चैंपियनशिप की ट्रायल हुई थी, सीनियर एशिया चैंपियनशिप की ट्रायल थी 25 मार्च 2022 को. ट्रायल के बाद एक फोटो सेशन होता है, जिस फोटो सेशन में प्रेसिडेंट था और कोचेज साहिबान थे, जो स्पोर्टिंग स्टाफ है वो भी था और टेक्निकल ऑफिशियल भी थे. तो फोटो सेशन जब शुरू हुआ तो एक महिला पहलवान प्रेसिडेंट ब्रिज भूषण की बराबर में खड़ी थी और एक जो चीफ कोच था वो भी था. लेकिन थोड़ी ही देर में जब फोटो की तैयारी चल रही थी तो वो लड़की एकदम से छटपटाई. सबका ध्यान उधर गया, तो जिसमें मैंने भी देखा कि वो लड़की वहां से हट करके दूसरी जगह जाने के लिए तैयार हुई. तो वो लड़की अपनी भाषा में कुछ सुनाई तो नहीं दे रहा था कुछ, लेकिन होठ चल रहे थे, वो कुछ बड़बड़ा रही थी. और हमने जब पीछे मुड़ के देखा तो ब्रिज भूषण के हाथ ऐसी जगह लगे थे कि जहां पर लड़कियों को नहीं छूना चाहिए.
जगबीर जी, उनके हाथ ब्रिज भूषण शरण के ऐसी जगह लगे थे जो असहज था, आप ये कह रहे हैं. क्या दिनांक था? फिर से जरा डेट बताइएगा.
25 मार्च 2022 लखनऊ की घटना है
ये 25 मार्च 2022 वही दिन है जो महिला रेसलर कंप्लेनेंट है, उन्होंने अपनी कंप्लेन में दर्ज की है, जिसके बिना पर एफआईआर है. उसी पे आप विटनेस हैं. क्या ये वही इंसिडेंट है, उसी कंप्लेनेंट से रिलेटेड, उनमें से वही महिला रेसलर ने कंप्लेन की है जिसकी बारे में आप बात कर रहे हैं?
हाँ हाँ, उनमें से एक है.
उनमें से एक है. जगबीर जी, आपने अभी जो 25 मार्च वाला वाकया है जो 2022 का, जो अभी जिसके बयानों पे, जो महिला बयानों पे एफआईआर करी गई हैं, वो आपने बताया है कि आपकी आंख देखी है कि ब्रिज भूषण शरण ने अपना हाथ महिला रेसलर पे ऐसे रख रखा था कि बहुत ही भद्दा था और असहज था. ये आपने हमें अभी बताया है. जगबीर जी, आप मुझे ये बताइए, क्या आपके संज्ञान में कोई और ऐसा वाकया कभी हुआ है जो आप बिल्कुल क्लियरली हमें बता सकते हैं?
देखिए, ये तो 2022 की घटना है. उससे पहले 2013 की एक घटना है। थाईलैंड की थाईलैंड पुकेट में एक जूनियर एशिया चैंपियनशिप हुई थी 2013 में। वहां की घटना है। वहां पर भारतीय टीम ने एक उम्दा प्रदर्शन किया था और वहां पर प्रेसिडेंट भी मौजूद था। तो प्रेसिडेंट ने बच्चों को कहा कि आपके लिए आज इंडियन फूड की व्यवस्था करेंगे, क्योंकि थाईलैंड में सी फूड ज़्यादा मिलता है, ऑयली फूड ज़्यादा मिलता है। तो बच्चों ने वो कुछ ठीक नहीं लगा था, क्योंकि रेसलर्स जो हैं वो ज़्यादा शाकाहारी होते हैं और दूध घी पे ज़्यादा विश्वास रखते हैं। तो उनके लिए रात को डिनर की व्यवस्था की गई इंडियन फूड्स की। तो जहाँ पर लड़कियों का होटल था, जहाँ पर खिलाड़ी रुके हुए थे, उस होटल में उस खाने की व्यवस्था की गई। और अध्यक्ष जी ब्रिज भूषण जी और उनके जो साथी थे वहाँ के, थाईलैंड के ही थे, वो सारे नशे में चूर थे और उन्होंने बच्चियों को इस तरह से छुआ जाए जो हमारे समाज में बच्चियों को उस तरह से नहीं छुआ जाता। किसी बच्ची को पकड़ के कि आपने बहुत अच्छी कुश्ती लड़ी, आप बहुत अच्छी हैं, आपका शरीर बहुत अच्छा है, आपको मैं ये मदद करूंगा, आप बड़े पहलवान बनोगे, आपको बताइए किस चीज़ की ज़रूरत है। तो ऐसे बयानबाजी हुई और हम भी उस जगह पर मौजूद थे, हम रेफरी के तौर पर गए हुए थे। वो हमने बहुत बुरा लगा था, वो एक बहुत बुरा सपना था।
ये 2013 की घटना आप बता रहे हैं, ये घटना जो 7 महिलाओं ने बयान किया है उनमें से नहीं है, पर एक दूसरी घटना है जो आप बता रहे हैं। पर जगबीर जी, मुझे ये चीज़ बताइए, जो फुकेत थाईलैंड की घटना आप बता रहे हैं, इसमें बहुत सारी महिलाएं अंडर एज थी क्या? और क्या ये व्यवहार एक से ज़्यादा महिला के साथ हुआ, वहाँ पे महिला रेसलर के साथ हुआ? क्या और लोग भी थे आपके अलावा जिन्होंने ये देखा?
हाँ, पूरी टीम थी। हाँ, महिलाएं थी, पुरुष भी थे।
तो फिर से पूछूंगी, पूरी टीम थी और लोग भी थे, और जो असॉल्ट हुआ था वो एक रेसलर महिला से ज्यादा रेसलर महिलाओं पे हुआ था और बहुत लोगों ने ये देखा था, आप कह रहे हैं?
हाँ भाई, जैसे एक उसमें 10 महिला खिलाड़ी होती हैं, 10 में से कम 3, 4, 5 को तो इन्होंने पकड़ के, आप बहुत अच्छी कुश्ती लड़ी, आप बहुत अच्छी हैं, आपको किस चीज़ की ज़रूरत है, आप मुझे बताइए, मैं आपकी मदद करूंगा। तो इस तरह का प्रलोभन दिया गया वहां पर।
जगबीर जी, क्या इन किसी भी रेसलर्स ने कभी भी आपके पास आकर, जो अभी वाकया है उसके पहले, बोला कि ब्रिज भूषण शरण ने मेरे साथ ये किया? कोई कंप्लेन आई?
नहीं, मेरे सामने कंप्लेंट, मैं कभी महिला टीम का कोच नहीं रहा, मैं कभी किसी महिला कोच का, मैं किसी महिला का कोच नहीं रहा कभी। मैं लड़कों का अखाड़ा चलाता हूं, यहाँ पर मेरा अपना क्लब है और मैं 2007 से UWW का रेफरी हूं।
जगबीर जी, इस सब में जो आपने बयान दिया है एज एन आई विटनेस भी, आपने पुलिस के सामने ये सब बताया है। अब एक चीज़ बताइए, क्योंकि जो ये ब्रॉडकास्ट देख रहे हैं ना, बहुत सारे पूछेंगे कि जगबीर जी आप पहले क्यों नहीं आए, पहले आपने क्यों नहीं बोला, अब क्यों बोल रहे हैं?
मैडम जी, हम ऐसे देश में रहते हैं कि जहाँ पर महिला को खिलाफ भी नहीं बोल सकते, सपोर्ट में तो आप बोल ही रहे हैं, खिलाफ में बोल नहीं सकते। जब तक इस देश में ये कानून है, जब तक महिला खुद शिकायत ना करे, महिला कोई मदद ना मांगे, अगर आप उसकी मदद करना चाहोगे तो आपके खिलाफ ही शिकायत हो जाएगी।
तो आप कह रहे हैं तब तक कोई शिकायत नहीं थी। एक चीज बताइए जगबीर जी, जो इसमें माइनर है, जो नाबालिग लड़की है, रेसलर है, उसका मुद्दा सामने आया है, कह रहे हैं कि चेंज कर दिया है स्टेटमेंट, उसमें आपको कोई ज्ञान है, कोई चेंज किया है स्टेटमेंट?
देखिए मैडम, उसके बारे में मैं ज्यादा नहीं जानता। मैं उसको नहीं जानता कि वो कहाँ से है, किस परिवार से है, वो माइनर है नहीं है, उसके बारे में मैं नहीं जानता। लेकिन मैं एक कमेंट्स करना जरूर चाहूंगा कि भारतीय कुश्ती संघ का क्या स्वार्थ था कि उस लड़की को माइनर बना के विदेश में भेजा गया, और जब उसने कोई प्रोटेस्ट किया तो आज वो माइनर नहीं है। तो क्या फेडरेशन को पहले से पता था कि माइनर नहीं है? जो फेडरेशन के पास डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं, जिस प्रतियोगिताओं में उस बच्ची को पार्टिसिपेट करवाया है, उस हिसाब से तो वो माइनर है। तो फेडरेशन आज कैसे कह सकती है कि वो माइनर नहीं है? तब फेडरेशन ने जांच क्यों नहीं की? किस उद्देश्य के कारण उस बच्ची को गलत एज ग्रुप में खिलाया गया, माइनर एज ग्रुप में क्यों खिलाया गया? तो किस बच्चे का हक मारा गया? ये भी तो एक जांच का विषय है ना। उसमें जांच करने वाला इसका सेक्रेटरी था, उस सेक्रेटरी के साइन है उसके ऊपर कि ये माइनर है, ये इस एज ग्रुप में पार्टिसिपेट कर सकती है। तब इसने जांच क्यों नहीं करवाई?
तो जगबीर जी, आप जो कह रहे हैं, जो बार बार एक नैरेटिव चला हुआ आ रहा है, एक भूमिका बांधी जा रही है कि जो लड़की है वो नाबालिग नहीं है, बालिग है, और ये ब्रिज भूषण शरण के कह रहे हैं कि उसके कैंप से ज्यादा आ रही है। आप मुझे ये बताइए, आप कह रहे हैं ये नेशनल टीवी पे कि ब्रिज भूषण शरण का सेक्रेटरी, जो WFI का सेक्रेटरी है, उसका साइन है इसके ऊपर कि ये लड़की नाबालिग है, और उस सर्टिफिकेट में इस लड़की ने इंटरनेशनल कंपटीशन खेला है। सही बात?
इसके सेक्रेटरी विनोद तोमर का एज प्रूफ पे साइन है, और ये विदेश गई है ये लड़की। एज वेरिफिकेशन की एक कमेटी बनाई हुई थी, जो इसका सेक्रेटरी जिसको चाहे उसको बाहर निकाल दे, जिसको चाहे वो खिला ले। इसके सेक्रेटरी के साइन होते थे एज ग्रुप वेरिफिकेशन पे। इसका सेक्रेटरी को इतनी पावर थी कि भारत देश का किसी का डेट ऑफ बर्थ को वो नहीं मानता था, किसी के पासपोर्ट को वो नहीं मानता था, उसके साइन होने हो वो जरूरी थे।
जगबीर जी, एक आखिरी सवाल पूछूंगी आपसे। ब्रिज भूषण, आपने खुद कोच रहे हैं, इंटरनेशनल रेफरी हैं, जो मेंस की रेसलिंग टीम थी इंटरनेशनल, उसके आप कोच रहे हैं। ब्रिज भूषण शरण की क्या छवि थी जो रेसलर्स के बीच में? इन्फ्लुएंशियल थे, काफी कहते हैं उनका दबदबा था, नहीं था, लोग डरते थे, क्या उनकी इन्फ्लुएंस है?
अरे देश में सबसे बड़ा कुख्यात अपराधी कौन है? दाऊद इब्राहिम। इस देश का सबसे बड़ा कुख्यात अपराधी दाऊद इब्राहिम है, उससे इसके संबंध रहे हैं। इसके ऊपर टाडा एक्ट लग गया है, 302 की धाराएं लगी, और क्या लगना बाकी है?
जगबीर जी, बहुत शुक्रिया कि हम आपसे जुड़े। आप एक आई विटनेस हैं, बने रहेंगे कि नहीं ये तो वक्त बताएगा, पर आपने जो डिटेल में हमें बताया है, आपने साफ बताया है कि एक लड़की, जो एक महिला रेसलर जिसने कंप्लेन किया है फोटोशूट के बारे में, उसने डेट दी है, आपने डेट कंफर्म की है, आपने बोला है कि मैंने देखा था कि ब्रिज भूषण का हाथ एक ऐसी जगह पे था उस महिला रेसलर की बॉडी पार्ट पर कि वो भद्दा था, हम देख नहीं पाई, आपने कहा है। आपने उसके अलावा 2013 का वाकया बताया है, जब फुकेत थाईलैंड में आप कह रहे थे कि एक नहीं 4-5 महिला रेसलर्स के साथ बहुत अभद्र व्यवहार किया गया। बहुत शुक्रिया जगबीर जी कि आप हमसे जुड़े, विटनेस होने में हिम्मत लगती है। बहुत शुक्रिया सर। I want to now just, we will elucidated, corroborated exactly what one of the key eyewitnesses has to say. I want to also say, viewers, there are over 115 eyewitnesses that these girls have detailed. Over 115 eyewitnesses that these girls have detailed. Whether the Pocso case stands or not, we're going to try and get an understanding. I want to bring in right now Vikram Singh, former DGP, who's joining us live on the show. Trisha Shetty, human rights activist and a lawyer. Vikram Singh, Sir, I want to ask you one direct question. You heard one of the key eyewitnesses in this account, Jagbir Singh. He has detailed, corroborated, confirmed one of the incidents which is in the complaint put forth by one of the wrestlers, on the basis of which an FIR has been formed against Brij Bhushan Sharan. An eyewitness account like this, how damning can it be, sir?
Preeti ji, good evening. I find this to be an A-class eyewitness account. He has given the graphic account of what happened on 25th of March 2022 in Lucknow, where he touched and he said the lady wrestler came out and chatpatai hui, that she was almost tortured, and the word he used was chatpatai hui. He goes to 2013 in Phuket and Thailand.
He also says, Vikram Singh, he also says कि जब मैंने पीछे मुड़ के देखा, ब्रिज भूषण शरण का हाथ उस महिला की बॉडी के ऐसे पार्ट पर था जो असहज था.
Bilkul. I did not want to repeat that because a sense of decorum prevented me from saying that. But Jagbir, I must compliment you for coming out with the unpalatable and the unwelcome truth. But howsoever bitter it may be, it has to come out. Now the third part, his general reputation. You questioned him incisively about the general reputation of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. It was as horrible as the allegations level. Therefore, the allegations have merit and substance, and Jagbir Singh would be classified as a prime witness in any court proceedings, because he's not only an eyewitness, he's unambiguous about his testimony. He is firm, and the word he uses display exactly how things had turned out. The general reputation, what he mentioned, what happened in Thailand, and also his association in the criminal history that Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh had. I am not very convinced, because that needs corroboration and further investigation, is the association with Dawood Ibrahim, because I personally am not privy. I am privy to other charges, yes, and also the fact that he has a long criminal history. That, of course, so almost 99% of the allegations, what Jagbir Singh has said, has merit, pith and substance in what he has said. And therefore, I say, under these circumstances, Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh should not only be charge sheeted, but convicted, because the evidence of the complainant, the prosecutrix, and an independent witness, which we were waiting for a very long time, whom you have showcased today, I think the investigation is over. What is required is a court sentence. And under these circumstances, from my experience, if it is pursued vigorously, it will end in conviction.
I want to bring in Trisha Shetty, human rights activist and lawyer. Trisha Shetty, you've been following the case very closely. He's one of the over 100 eyewitnesses that have been detailed by these young, brave women, our wrestlers. You know, at the back of it, one really does wonder, if this was the deposition given to the Delhi police, why wasn't there an arrest?
I think it goes to show you the complicity when it comes to protecting a person who has really serious allegations of sexual abuse and assault against him, not just by one person, but multiple women, one of whom is allegedly a minor, right? So let's just quickly recap what has been happening. Since January, we've seen our Olympic level athletes been on the streets protesting because of police inaction and injustice, right? It took, as of April 28th, an order from the Supreme Court for the FIRs to be registered against this alleged accused person, Mr. Brij Bhushan. It took the intervention of the Supreme Court, which is in itself an aberration of the law. The second the Delhi police were intimated of the crimes against this individual, they should have lodged the FIR. You do not have the legal standing to deny a citizen of filing an FIR as a police officer. It goes against the law, which is listed under the IPC as well as the CRPC. And there's criminal punishment against police officers who engage in such activities, right? So we saw none of that happening. Supreme Court had to intervene. We've also seen the International Olympic Committee as well as the United World Wrestling Federation that have come out to make statements saying that they condemn the treatment of the wrestlers that have been subject to in India, where they have been charged with rioting cases. Why were these wrestlers forced to take to the streets to protest? Because they were deprived of their right to access to justice. Who is the person they've accused? This person, it's important to note, in cases of Pocso, in cases of POSH, which also falls under this, right? POSH, because these wrestlers, this is a workplace for them. When they're accusing someone in a position of trust and authority, it is then defined as an aggravated offense. So not only are these cases of sexual harassment, this should also have been filed under aggravated sexual harassment and aggravated sexual abuse, because that's what happens, because this person was the head of the wrestling federation. Now, who is this person? This person has a criminal history. He's got allegations of dacoity, of kidnapping, of murder. This person, this accused of sexual harassment, has also previously gone on record and bragged about how he has killed someone, right? This is the glorified person that the state is trying to protect, that the police is trying to protect, even though they have multiple credible witnesses, as you've said, multiple corroborations of allegations, multiple survivors who've come forward very bravely to say, we want justice.
You know, I just want to once again, for a final time, bring in Vikram Singh back into this conversation. Vikram Singh, just on the basis of the testimony of that witness, and if you can keep it short, sir, I want to ask you, even if the Pocso case doesn't stand in court, because this is not a corroboration of the testimony on the Pocso case, it's about the other wrestler and the photo shoot, is it still damning?
It is still done, Preeti. I have no doubts in my mind. What Jagbir has said is sufficient to nail anyone. Unless we have two sets of rules that show me the man and I'll show you the rules. Otherwise, if it is absolutely impartial, I think this testimony is enough to convict Brij Bhushan, Sharan, Singh.
Well, thank you both for joining us. Appreciate it. Well, till now it does seem we have two sets of rules. The sheer fact that it took over 7 days to only just file an FIR, in that time there was an active Pocso case. It still is active. It's only for the courts to throw it out if it deems so. Appreciate viewers for joining us. We're going to play that conversation out with the coach referee, one of the primary eyewitness, who says, I saw Brij Bhushan assault our wrestlers. 9:30 p.m. Stay with us.
Think about these high airfares across the domestic sector, and what can be done to reduce them?
You know, Karishma, I think every once in a while, when there is suddenly a demand-supply sort of gap, there is this, sometimes it happens that there are these fares that peak. And frankly, I've said this, the same boring thing for now almost 15, 17 years, that airfares consistently should be affordable. Now, there will be always some peaks and troughs depending on how much there is demand, but there should not be any gouging of fares. You know, there should not be any unnecessary abuse of a particular near-term opportunity. How do we bring fares down? I mean, which is what you asked me. I think it's probably a combination of two things. At an overall level, there needs to be a consistent supply of new capacity coming in, because India is a highly underpenetrated market. For a country of 1.4 billion people, give or take 500 commercial airplanes is really nothing, you know. And not all those 500 commercial airplanes are flying, and not all of the ones which are flying are in the domestic market. So it's the actual domestic capacity is even less than those 500 airplanes. So just continuously new capacity coming in, new airplanes coming in to meet that demand is the basic fundamental. The second is that, I have a reasonably simplistic view on fares, that, it should be at a level which meets the cost of an airline. And at the same time, it cannot be something which hurts the customer. Now, the way to really do that, and is even when you're bringing in new capacity, for airlines to be able to focus on their cost structure. Because if their cost structure is much lower than in the past, then the fares, even if they meet that cost, does not have to be something which starts, becoming a pain point for customers. So I think this is the way I kind of look at airfares.
Elon Musk's Tesla has agreed to the Indian government's demand to set up a vendor base in India. Currently, more than half of Tesla's global production takes place in China. My colleague Chetan Bhutani joining us on the story. Chetan, does it mean Tesla is a step closer to shifting part of its business out of China and into India? And by when could we see this happen?
Well, that's right. Elon Musk's Tesla could soon make in India for the world, as top sources in the government have confirmed to Business Today TV that the company has in principle agreed to start manufacturing in India. In fact, no formal proposal has been signed as of now, but yes, by the way of mutual understanding, the company has given a green light to the government's, in fact, mutual persuasion that happened last month. Sources have also confirmed to Business Today TV that Tesla will set up a vendor place in India. But however, the government is of the opinion that the company should probably start manufacturing and, in fact, assembling electric cars in India, and then probably move on to set up a vendor base. In fact, last month, the officials of Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, Department of Heavy Industries, the Prime Minister's office, they all met Tesla officials just to take a rain check at how India is serious about this electric vehicle revolution in India, and how the country in fact wants to go out. So in fact, my sources have also told me that the government in fact could sweeten the production linked incentive scheme 2.0 that would be coming up to ensure Tesla also gets some benefits. In fact, it has now in fact said that they are not anymore seeking demand for an import duty cut. But in fact, you should remember that owing to different geopolitical situations in China, the company has more than half of its production.
Chetan, will Tesla get concessions from the Indian government for setting up a base here?
The government is of the opinion that if Tesla does something and starts manufacturing, not out of the way, not a green carpet would be rolled out for Tesla, but yes, the government is looking at a production-linked incentive scheme specifically for electric vehicles and its components, because the FAME scheme is almost coming to an end, and various factors have contributed towards its ending. But yes, a PLI 2.0 is in the works, which probably could benefit Tesla.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mo.
Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Growing Legacies.
Powered by NECC, Sunday Hoya Monday, Rose Khaw Monday.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the news track. I'm Rahul Kamal. Mamata Banerjee's nephew Abhishek Banerjee rejects an enforcement directorate summons, says the probe agency is preventing him from campaigning in the panchayat elections and that he is being tortured. Is he just trying to dodge the law enforcement agency? Is this actually torture, or is the agency only following procedure which Mr. Banerjee needs to comply with? That's my top focus on the news track.
The next Bengal war is brewing. Khela hobe in big panchayat polls. Massive litmus test before 2024. Poll will prove who is most war ready. Brace for fresh fierce battle for Bengal. The big focus on news track.
There's a furious political face-off brewing yet again between the BJP and the Trinamool in West Bengal. We'll dive straight into it. Meanwhile, here are the headlines I'm tracking tonight. Maha fight over Aurangzeb escalates after poster war and riots. Asuddin Owaisi calls the Maha Sarkar Godse ki aulad. Sharad Pawar and Sanjay Raut get death threats. Dr. Jaishankar slams Rahul Gandhi's foreign raga, says criticizing India abroad and seeking intervention is a cause of concern and can have serious implications for the country.
What is the bigger problem is when you take it out and then you invite people from out, saying please come and actually take part and interfere in what is happening out here. So our invitation be there. That I don't think is good for the country.
International wrestling referee says he saw a female athlete push away Brij Bhushan Sharan as she got uncomfortable. Delhi police recreate crime scene at the WFI boss's Delhi office. Now textbook war ignites over Hegdewar in Karnataka. Congress government to remove chapters on the RSS founder from school books. Donald Trump indicted for the second time. This time in the classified documents case, the former US president accuses the Biden administration of a witch hunt. The Trinamool Congress is on the warpath against central agencies again. Mamata Banerjee's nephew and senior party leader Abhishek Banerjee, who's facing the heat in connection with the coal and school job scam, has declared he will defy Enforcement Directorate summons. This fight comes at the backdrop of impending Panchayat polls. The Trinamool claims the summons to Abhishek Banerjee are a ploy to keep him away from campaigning. Here's the latest in the big Bengal showdown.
A test of popularity at the grassroots level. West Bengal is set for an electoral warm-up before next year's big Lok Sabha vote. The TMC ruled state goes to Panchayat polls on July 8th. Zilla Parishads and Gram Panchayats. 63,283 constituencies spread across the state vote in a single round on July 8th. Results are scheduled for July 11th. In 2018, TMC delivered a thumping victory in the violence-ridden rural polls. It pushed the BJP to distant second. The left and Congress reduced to irrelevance in all three tiers of the Panchayat structure back then. It seems different this time, with the TMC under massive opposition attack over allegations of corruption and arrest of several senior leaders. The opposition parties, the BJP and the Left Congress alliance seem prepared to fight it out with renewed vigor. Fireworks have begun. The BJP has sought deployment of central forces, fearing violence in the upcoming elections.
बंगाल में हर चुनाव में कुछ ना कुछ संतरास होता है, हिंसा होता है, पंचायत पौरसभा में ज्यादा होता है लोकल बॉडी में, इसलिए बार-बार हम सेंट्रल फोर्स का डिमांड करते हैं.
On its part, Congress complains Panchayat elections have been announced on a short notice, with a short window for nomination filing.
लगभग 73,000 के आसपास उम्मीदवार चुनाव में हिस्सा लेना चाहते हैं. समय दिए गए 9 तारीख से 15 तारीख, 8 दिन के अंदर एक दिन छुट्टी के भी है. ये कौन सा गणित की सहारे में ये लोग एक समय तय किए हैं, जिस समय के दरमियान मान लीजिए कि 73,000 उम्मीदवारों ने अपना नामांकन भर पाएंगे.
The opposition has moved court, seeking central security during the vote and raising its objections over carrying out the elections in a single phase. In response, the Calcutta High Court has observed that the State Election Commission should consider vote dates and that adequate time should be given for filing nominations. The state government and election authorities should also discuss deploying central forces. The TMC has put on a bold face. The ruling party insists that the High Court should issue an observation and not an order.
ऐसे जरूरी नहीं है कि ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग करना है. इलेक्शन डेट अनाउंस करने के पहले स्टेट इलेक्शन कमिश्नर का पूरा पावर है, वो पावर के अनुसार इलेक्शन डेट अनाउंस किया, हमको मानने पड़ेगा.
The litmus test begins on West Bengal's rural battleground before the Lok Sabha vote due next year. Bureau Report, India Today.
Mamata Banerjee's nephew Abhishek Banerjee refusing to appear before the Enforcement Directorate. He says he has absolutely no time to waste before the big panchayat elections next month in West Bengal. He says the agencies are torturing him. Is it correct for the senior Trinamool leader to be defying the Enforcement Directorate summon? Is this indeed a case of torture, or should Mr. Banerjee really be following procedure because he's been summoned by an Indian investigative agency? To talk about this and more, and to talk about the big build-up to the next panchayat elections in West Bengal, because remember, in the assembly elections in West Bengal, the Trinamool won handsomely, and this panchayat election will be important because it will give us a sense of who stands where at this moment in West Bengal. Joining us for perspective on this broadcast, I want to welcome our guests on the show. With us at this time, representing the Trinamool Congress, is Riju Datta. Priyanka Tibrewal is a spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Shikha Mukherjee is a columnist and senior journalist. Jayanto Ghoshal is a consulting editor with the India Today group. So welcome to all our guests. I want to give our viewers a sense of where things stand at this moment, so you get a sense of the starting point. There are 48,649 gram panchayats where elections will be fought, and this election happens early next month. And let me give you a sense of where things stand at this moment. So if you see, according to the 2018 gram panchayat data, the Trinamool Congress had won 78% of the total votes. The BJP had picked up only 12% of the total votes. The Trinamool had 38,118 gram panchayat wards. The BJP had only 5,779. The CPI 33, the CPM 1,400. Very small numbers these. I just want to give you a sense of how the Assembly, the Lok Sabha and the gram panchayat numbers really compare. So we look at the total numbers that each party got. Remember, in the Lok Sabha elections between the BJP and the Trinamool, there was a reasonably tight fight. The Trinamool had 22 MPs in the 2019 Lok Sabha election. The BJP had 18. And the Congress had 2. So that's the seat share for West Bengal across 3 elections, where in the Lok Sabha elections, there was a tighter fight between the BJP and the Trinamool. What we'll find out next month is where things stand at this moment. Will it again be a tight fight? Will it be a close contest? Or will it be Trinamool all the way? That is what is at stake. And Abhishek Banerjee is telling the Enforcement Directorate, he's telling the country at large, I am being called at this moment. He's been called on the 13th of June. His wife Rujira was questioned for 3.5 hours. Soon after, Abhishek got summon as well. He says he's being tortured and that he's being prevented from going out and campaigning. And remember, at this moment, Abhishek Banerjee is doing a very big yatra, and therefore, as this yatra goes on, he thinks he's being stopped from doing that yatra, and that's the reason why he's being called. This is the Trinamool Nabo Jowar campaign, which Abhishek Banerjee is undertaking at this moment. So let me go across first and foremost to Riju Datta as he tries to explain to our viewers why Abhishek Banerjee has decided that he will not be appearing before the Enforcement Directorate. He seems to be daring the investigative agency.
Rahul, first of all, good evening to all your viewers on the panel. Let me start off by giving you an analogy. You know, back in the day when we were kids, I was quite fond of a comic book called Asterix and Obelix. And it depicted the story of a small village of Gaul, which couldn't be captured by the great Roman Empire and the great Roman King Julius Caesar himself. Now, fast forward to 2020-23, you will see the same thing happening. Whereas the king with his entire armada of EDA, CBI, NIA, IT, trying to capture a small state of Bengal, but unfortunately failing time and time again. See, this is what is happening. Abhishek Banerjee and Mamata Banerjee, for the last 4-5 elections, has defeated the world's largest party, and not just defeated, thrashed them out of the park. Abhishek Banerjee has clearly stated in front of the press that I have cooperated with all my, all the investigations, and if called, I will go again and again. And if you have one shred of evidence, you don't need to arrest me also. You bring it in front of the media, I will go and hang myself in the public view. Why is the CBI and ED not being able to do that? Question number one. Question number two. There is a new campaign called Trinamool in Navajua, which has coincidentally completed 4,000 kilometers today. And because of that, the collective opposition in Bengal, their BP levels, their sugar levels have all spiked. And as a result, they are trying every trick under the sun to, stop this campaign by calling Abhishek Banerjee. So he has categorically said, look, my panchayat polls are ending on 8th. You call me on 9th, I will go. You call me on 10th, I will go. You call me on 11th, I will go. Before that, I do not have the time to waste 12 hours because the net result is 0 because you have done that before. Point number 3, the panchayat polls that has been announced, there is almost totally, if you include the Samiti and everything, around 70,000 seats that will go to the poll, 70,000. So out of those 70,000, the collective opposition in Bengal, and I'm saying categorically, do not even have 20,000 nominations.
Yeah, but a part of that is because of the fear of the Trinamool. Riju, I'll tell you what, one second, sir. In 2018, 34% of the total seats, the panchayat seats which went for polls, went uncontested. Those seats, so much was the fear of the Trinamool on the ground that your opponents did not even dare put up a candidate against you. So while you're making the point, you are also remember that this has been a persistent reality. 20,076 total panchayat seats went uncontested to the Trinamool.
Okay, see, this time round, time and time again, not the opposition but the ruling disposition, because law and order is a state subject. We have said that we want an absolute peaceful panchayat vote, even if that means losing a few seats. My question is, the opposition has gone...
Who was talking about peace?
Priyanka, I haven't come to you yet. You will wait for a moment till I come to you. Do not derail this conversation. That's not my style.
Thank you. The opposition has gone to the Honorable High Court. They have gone with a list of demands. I will accept and I will be very happy if the Honorable High Court says that the nomination filing should be online. You know what will happen then, Rahul? Then the collective opposition or a part of the media cannot say that Trinamool Congress has stopped them from filing nomination. I am saying go file nomination. I will go even one step ahead and say if any opposition party candidate says that we are not being able to file nomination, contact the Trinamool Congress. Because we have also launched a new app which is Sorasori Mukhyamantri, which means there's a number you can contact the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee
So
directly.
Priyanka, I'm going to come back to you in a moment. Priyanka Tibrewal, here's what Abhishek Banerjee is saying, that polls get over on the 8th of July, 9th, 10th, 11th, call me. At this moment, I simply have no time to mix. His charge really is that he's been undergoing this Trinamool Nabo Jawar campaign, which he claims is what is rattling the state BJP, which is why you want him to move away from this campaign and present himself before the Enforcement Directorate. He's saying the ED and the CBI are the double engine of the BJP government.
Not at all. This is vice versa. It is Abhishek Banerjee and the Trinamool government who is scared because, see, on the completion of 9 years of Modi government, there are various public meetings which are being held at the block levels. And we are going and holding those meetings are being held. And there they are now very, very horrified because the kind of crowd which is emerging. So they want to first of all stop this program. And secondly, Abhishek Banerjee is trying to purchase time. You see, panchayat elections were not the need of the hour for them for so long. But now, just because he is being called, his wife is being called, the family members are being called, and not to have tea and breakfast with the ED or the CBI, because there is a company called Leaps and Bounds where they were found directors, where there was this coal smuggling money trail which they have found out, and that's the reason they are being questioned. So in order to purchase time now, all of a sudden, they announced panchayat election, that also without any party meeting or consulting any other party or without doing any kind of party
No, this is something that Shubhendu Adhikari is making a big deal of, Riju. That an all-party meeting wasn't held, that this is a unilateral call by the Trinamool. Usually, there is a conversation with opposition parties before the election is announced. They're saying, you are trying to do this because you are trying to deflect attention and trying to turn the Enforcement Directorate summons the cases against Abhishek Banerjee into a political weapon.
Rahul, there's a saying, Naach na jane angan teda. My question is this. First of all, it's not mandatory to have an all-party meeting, but the election commissioner said that I will have an all-party meeting in due course of time. Point number one. Point number two, it is a fact, and you can check your records, your library is very strong, that Shubhendu Adhikari once went to High Court a few months back to delay the panchayat elections. Now, when the panchayat elections are announced, now he is again going there demanding central forces and all that nonsense. Now, my third question is, in every state of India where panchayat elections are being held, central forces are not required. Here they need central forces, but have they forgotten what is the outcome of 2021 Vidhan Sabha elections when the central forces were there? So bottom line is, Rahul, these are all cheap
So
tricks and
respond to
gimmicks
this,
to
Priyanka
deflect
Tibrewal. The charge that the BJP is in a political organizational shambles. Many of the Trinamool leaders have returned to the Trinamool. Many of the cadre have returned to the Trinamool. You aren't as strong as you were in 2021, which is why you don't want this election.
Sir, like he said, that panchayat elections are the need of the hour, very urgent. I'd like to remind my friend that there are many other municipal corporations where elections have not taken place from the last 10 years, 15 years. Why? Because their ministers are sitting as chairmen and they are earning money. So they don't require to contest any elections over there. But panchayat was very much required at the moment. Nobody has forgotten what happened in 2018, the kind of killing which took place in West Bengal. And my friend Riju Datta, he was talking about forgetting something. I think that the entire nation has not forgotten the 2021 elections which took place in West Bengal and the kind of violence which took place here. They were pulled by the High Court, they were pulled by the Supreme Court, by the NHRC. That is the reason so many investigations are going on here. People were murdered, brutally murdered. Not allowed to file nominations. Look at that. Their family, their women,
we're hearing from the political parties. I want to go across to Munish Pandey, who covers the Enforcement Directorate for us. He's been speaking to senior officials who are on this case. Munish, how confident are these ED officers about the kind of case they've been able to build against Abhishek Banerjee, against his wife Rujira? And remember, there are two primary matters that are being looked at in different ways. One, of course, is the coal scam. The other is the school scam. And in both these cases, they're trying to build a case. There's a school job scam and the coal pilferage scam. Where has the investigation reached? And from the ED's perspective, how important is it for Abhishek to appear?
Well, Rahul, first I'll talk about the coal scam. As far as Abhishek Banerjee is concerned, his role is being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate and he has been questioned on several occasions by the agency. But as far as the evidence against Abhishek Banerjee is concerned, the Enforcement Directorate claims that they have details of certain transactions. The ill-gotten money traveled from the mediators, from certain policemen to top politicians in West Bengal, and that is why they want to question Abhishek Banerjee. Apart from Abhishek Banerjee, his wife Rujira Banerjee is also under scanner of the Enforcement Directorate, and what ED believes and what they claim that there were two companies linked to Abhishek Banerjee's family through which Rujira Banerjee got over 50 lakh rupees. And that money traveled from India to outside country. They have the bank account details, and that is why Rujira Banerjee was also recently questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. So far, the question you asked, as far as Abhishek Banerjee is concerned, in the coal scam case, the ED claims that they have concrete evidence against Abhishek Banerjee. There is a legal battle which is going on between Abhishek Banerjee, Rujira Banerjee and the Enforcement Directorate. But at this point of time, there is no relief to Abhishek Banerjee or Rujira Banerjee from the Enforcement Directorate case as far as coal scam is concerned. Now, as far as the second scam is concerned, that is the recruitment scam, the teachers' recruitment scam, ED claims that their investigation is at a primary stage. At this point of time, they have certain links, certain evidence joining that chain to Abhishek Banerjee, and that is why he was called in for questioning. Now, as far as Abhishek Banerjee not going to the Enforcement Directorate is concerned, legally he is allowed to not go before the Enforcement Directorate on some ground, but he has to reply to the Enforcement Directorate, because remember, if he skips more than 3 summons, then ED will be within their rights to even arrest Abhishek Banerjee in this case.
Okay, thanks Munish for joining us. I want to go across to our two political analysts, Jayanto Ghoshal and Shikha Mukherjee. And before that, I want to show our viewers just where the last panchayat election stood. And what I've done is I've done a cross tab looking at the Lok Sabha and the assembly data numbers. This is vote share. So you'll get a sense of how tight the battle really was. So in 2019, the Trinamool had 43% of the vote share in West Bengal. The BJP had 41%. So the gap was only 2%. In the assembly elections that followed in 2021, the Trinamool's vote share was 48. The BJP's vote share was 38. So there's a 10% gap. But cut to the panchayat elections. Remember, on the 8th of July, West Bengal will see panchayat elections, and you'll hear a lot more about it as this build-up happens. The gap in the vote share of the panchayat elections is 78 versus 12. So that's a massive gap of 66, between the one and the two party. And therefore, the question now, Jayanto Ghoshal, is what, according to you, is the state of play in West Bengal? So you've got the ED summons being dodged by Abhishek Banerjee. That's a political matter. But on the ground, you travel across the state. What's the sense that you're picking up? Are we looking at an assembly election-like scenario? Are we looking at a Lok Sabha-like scenario? Or are we going to see something similar to the last panchayat elections? Because typically, the state government which is in power tends to have the advantage in local body elections. Jayanto.
Rahul, thank you very much. Rahul, at the outset, I will say that there is a anti-incumbency against TMC regime also. It's a law of nature. Because after 10 years, you cannot compare. Similar in the national level also, always there is a law of nature, the anti-incumbency comes. Here, in the districts, in the villages, you know, the local TMC, the behavioral pattern of the committees, and Abhishek Banerjee also pointed out several lacunas in that system publicly in different rallies to rectify those fault lines. So I have to say that there is a anti-incumbency. You cannot compare with the 10 years back what was the situation, or 5 years back what was the situation. So there is a increasing discontent among the mass of the Bengal. But you know, the opposition, now the delay of, the expectation on the panchayat election, the massive campaign was there that Mamata will not hold the assembly panchayat election. And sudden announcement of the
why has it been announced suddenly? Why is the poll been announced suddenly?
No, I'm telling you, because for the last 1 month, the file was with the governor on the chief election commission, chief electoral officer of the state election commission, and there are 3 letters governor saying to the state government that you have to give some other names. We will not accept the name of the Rajiva Sinha because BJP and the other opposition parties were accusing that this man will create terror and we cannot hold a free and fair election. But governor eventually he followed the constitutional procedure because the state electoral officer will be recruited by the state government, as state government said. But now it is they went to the court also on this issue. But in this situation, CPM and the opposition parties, they didn't buy the time for the nomination preparation. They are not ready actually. They could not expect the sudden, and now they are saying that
is the BJP ready according to you or not? Because the BJP has also been facing a lot of infighting.
No. BJP ideologically and BJP, they are strategically, they are, I think, more than Congress and the left. BJP is ahead on the question of the public, getting the public opinion, but in the organizational capability and the selection of the candidates in the different districts, you can blame that for the terror, we cannot give the candidate. But the reality is that the most of the, because you know, the winnability is with the TMC, that is the myth. And the most, it happens in the Uttar Pradesh also. Nobody wants to be a candidate of Samajwadi Party. They want to be a candidate of BJP. In the same way, in West Bengal, most of the candidates who want to be a candidate in the panchayat is a three-tier system. So in the lower level, everybody wants to be TMC, and that's why the massive jhagda, the massive infighting is the TMC to get the nomination.
Okay, so
In
you've said
BJP
some very
also,
interesting and important things. One, that there is anti-incumbency at the local level. The Trinamool leadership at the highest levels is aware of it. B, the opposition wasn't prepared for these elections because they didn't think they'd be announced so soon, and that there will be a challenge for the opposition to fight good candidates who can take on the Trinamool. And despite the anti-incumbency, when at the starting point, remember, all elections are essentially, from a perspective of data and psephology, the same. If at the starting level, the gap between the winner and the runner-up is 66%, even if the gap comes down, the end result is likely to change very much. That's just what electoral arithmetic says. Shikha Mukherjee, I heard from Jayanto Ghoshal, your sense of the state of play ahead of the big, brutal, bloody election for these Gram Panchayats next month?
I think the violence has already started. The violence started today. And the violence is I think, something which everybody says why, but it just happens to be the character of politics in West Bengal. Having said that, will the Trinamool do better? Is the BJP organized? Is the Congress organized? Incidentally, Jayanto, the CPM has welcomed the announcement of the election. The other two parties are the ones that are creating the noise. Having said that, let's look at the facts on the ground. One, the BJP between 2021 and now has had a series of defections, important defections in the state. The Congress has just lost the one MLA that was elected just a few weeks ago. The BJP's organizational weakness is something that the BJP, no matter what it says publicly, privately, they will tell you that there are problems with the party. On the other hand, the Trinamool certainly, as Jayanta says, has an anti-incumbency issue. The teachers' recruitment scam and I think far more important than the teachers' recruitment scam is the visual of mountains of cash being unearthed by the ED. That has certainly jolted even the hardcore, fervent Trinamool supporter. And that's not just anti-incumbency, that is just the visual...
Do you think they'll switch? Given the fact that so much cash was found from the houses of senior Trinamool leaders, will a part of that 78% of the vote which went for the Trinamool in the last assembly elections now switch?
Rahul, that is the million-dollar question, and why? Because we have to realize that all panchayats have a percentage of seats which are reserved for women. 50% seats are reserved for women. With reservation for women and Mamata Banerjee's incredible popularity and appeal, sort of buoyed by the fact that she has launched this Lakshmi Bhandar, which is a model which seems to have been adopted in other states, by other states as well, where, the state gives a direct cash transfer to women every month. That has made the women's vote a near certainty for Mamata Banerjee.
Let Priyanka Tibrewal respond. The fact that there's a 66% vote share advantage in favor of the Trinamool at the starting point, the fact that she's got these welfare schemes which seem to be rousing women supporters in her way, and the fact that there have been defections from the Trinamool back to the Trinamool, defections in the BJP back to the Trinamool, all of this taken together would suggest that it is a tough fight, which is partly why Abhishek Banerjee thinks he's being pulled away from the campaign so that his mind is not on the panchayat elections, but on having to respond to the ED and the CBI. Priyanka.
Not at all, Rahul. I don't agree with Ms. Mukherjee that a 500 rupee to the women of Bengal will, transfer her vote towards TMC. Not at all. If only money could buy votes, then in that way, BJP is giving this.
Madam, it
Samman,
doesn't
Kisan
need to get
Samman
transferred.
Nidhi,
It's
and there are
already
many other
sitting
things,
with
so I
the.
don't-
It's already sitting with the Trinamool. It needs to get transferred away from the Trinamool to you. It doesn't need to get transferred to. They're already sitting on 78% of the vote.
No. So that's okay. That's what I'm saying. That what is happening to the women here on the ground, whatever is the ground reality that we know and that we are seeing every day, that women are being raped just because their family member choose to go to some other party and hold the flag of some other party. They are being molested. Not just that, their husbands and their family members are being killed. So this is what happened in reality. Now, you were talking of violence. Only yesterday, violence has started in West Bengal. So this is what people are viewing each and every day. Now, the percentage which you were showing, Rahul, that, so many people voted for TMC, that is not the real percentage. Voting here in the panchayat take places on ballot. They take away the ballot boxes. This is what they have decided this time. Abhishek Banerjee has given instructions on this. That, allow people to do nominations, file nominations. We'll see them on the day of counting. We will not allow them to be present in the counting hall. Now, this is the way how elections take place in West Bengal.
Okay, I just want to walk across and show you what we did as an interesting calculation. We just converted to be able to compare the panchayat elections, the assembly elections and the Lok Sabha elections. I just converted it into a percentage, so you get a sense of how close the fight was. This is in terms of seat share. And when you compare the three data sets, you realize that the panchayat elections, 82% of all seats on offer in the panchayat elections were won by the Trinamool. The BJP had only 12% of the seats on offer. In the Lok Sabha elections, the BJP had 43% of the seats on offer, the Trinamool had 52%. So that's where the gap gets narrowed, it's only 9%. However, in the assembly elections of 2021, which is the big Trinamool victory, the Trinamool had 73% of the total seats on offer, the BJP had only 26%. So that really is the gap. But Riju, the wads of cash, literally mountains of them caught in the house of Trinamool leaders, all of this, including what Jayanto is saying, would really suggest that there is very serious anti-incumbency, a 10-year-old government, serious anti-incumbency. So it's not all hunky-dory for the Trinamool. You have a real challenge in the next month.
Rahul, let's be real for some time, and if Trinamool Congress has a zero tolerance policy for any sort of corruption, but in every party there are some people that do all this nonsense and they end up going behind bars and maligning the party. But if corruption would have been a cause to change the way an election goes, then Hemanta Biswa Sharma wouldn't have been the Chief Minister of Assam, neither Shivraj Singh Chauhan would have been the Chief Minister of MP. So I don't think only scams, change the fate of an election. But let me come to the real facts. Why Trinamool is going to win the Panchayat, they're going to win the Lok Sabha in Bengal, and they're going to win the upcoming Vidhan Sabha in 2026. Point number one, there is no alternative to Mamata Banerjee. Point number two, the opposition, the collective opposition, do not have a narrative for the betterment of Bengal. Their politics only involves abusing Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee. And they are confined in that. They do not have an alternative that how if Trinamool doesn't come in power, how they will benefit the people of Bengal. So that's point number two. Point number three is that Abhishek Banerjee has taken the reins of the party now. He has gone on the ground, he has met the people. The people, some of them were angry because of the anti-incumbency. But now they have got their leader within a foot. And
okay, let me put that question to Jayanto Ghoshal, the Trinamool leader, claiming he's a young gun from the Trinamool, so naturally he'll be enthused by Abhishek Banerjee. But you've seen many generations of leaders in West Bengal. To what extent has Abhishek at this moment been able to fill in, I can't say legacy or the shoes of Mamata Banerjee, but how does his popularity compare with that of Mamata Banerjee within and without the Trinamool?
Mamata Banerjee still, she is the most popular leader of the state.
Of course.
Across the districts. And Abhishek Banerjee still, he is respectable number 2 of the Trinamool Congress. And he is gaining ground. 5 years back, the influence of Abhishek Banerjee, not in the organizational internally, I am talking about influence of the mass. Now he is consciously trying to follow Mamata Banerjee's style also, to connect with the people, having a cup of tea with the villagers. But you know what Mamata Banerjee experienced? That is the anti-CPM movement, the atrocity of CPM against Mamata Banerjee. That experience Abhishek doesn't have. But Abhishek and Mamata is a good combination because Abhishek is facing the modern political crisis. Mamata Banerjee never faced CBI enforcement when she was fighting CPM. But now it's a major CBI and enforcement has become a major obstacle. Each and every day, Subhendu Adhikari issues statement against Abhishek Banerjee and this on the corruption issue. You know, Priyanka is a very forceful and a very successful spokesperson. They are raising the issue. Why? CBI enforcement is doing what the law will take its own course line. But what Priyanka and the BJP, that is their job. They have to do it. They are trying to give the message to the mass that don't accept Abhishek because he is a growing icon and it's a silent transition. And now it is not silent also. Everybody knows that after Mamata is Abhishek. So BJP, it's a next assembly election, part of the battle will be between Subhendu and Abhishek. So Abhishek,
how does that stack up in your view? Remember, this is the first election where it's Abhishek Banerjee who's more on the ground. Of course, Mamata Banerjee will have an important role to play in the campaign, but this is where he's doing his big yatra, he's leading the party, and the battle royale, young Subhendu, young Abhishek Banerjee versus Subhendu, who thought he should have been there as number 2 rather than Abhishek Banerjee, and Abhishek Banerjee is the reason that he actually left the Trinamool to go to the BJP, or amongst the reasons, because he thought he had no future, he'd reached a glass ceiling. How does that battle shape up in your view, Shikha Mukherjee? Abhishek Banerjee versus Subhendu Adhikari?
Actually, it's not Abhishek Banerjee versus Subhendu Adhikari. It's Abhishek Banerjee plus Mamata Banerjee against Subhendu Adhikari. You know, that is not a good comparison. It's an unfair comparison to Subhendu.
You're saying it's an unfair comparison to Subhendu. I see Riju has his hand up. I'm running out of time, Riju Datta, so very quickly make your point and then I wrap up.
Yes, the difference between Abhishek Banerjee and Subhendu Adhikari and why Trinamool is going to win all the next 3 elections is because after the panchayat was declared yesterday, Abhishek Banerjee in rain and thunderstorm is with the people of Bengal on the ground, whereas Subhendu Adhikari is meeting Mr. Amit Shah in Delhi, exchanging flowers and niceties. So that shows who has the commitment towards people of
quick response, quick counter before I conclude.
Rahul, Jyoti Basu and Buddhadev Bhattacharya once thought that they were irreplaceable, but you know, this is what happens when arrogance hits your head. And now that Mr. Riju Datta is thinking that Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek are irreplaceable, people will show them the mirror soon.
We'll find out. And as always, India Today first on the ball with the election. This will be an exciting contest. In fact, I'm biased. I find all elections exciting. But typically in West Bengal, not just is it a hard-fought election and a pitched battle, it also ends up very often being bloody, brutal and very violent. So we'll track every dimension of this election, what's happening on the ground, what's happening with the probes, what the agencies are doing, what the politicians are doing. I want to thank our guests for joining us on this broadcast. We'll keep tracking, and what we really try to do is give you a sense of how this battle really is shaping up. Coming up on the other side of a quick break, Donald Trump indicted for the second time. Can he still run for president in 2024? Details coming up on the other side.
Where the software engineer meets the smart market analyst, meets the talented photographer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University. So where are you?
The IMD declaring the onset of southwest monsoon in India as it finally reaches Kerala, although a week later than it normally does. The IMD has said the progress is likely to be slow for at least 1 week due to the severe cyclone developing in the Arabian Sea, which may further delay its penetration over the Indian mainland. India is expected to get normal rainfall during the southwest monsoon season despite the evolving El Nino conditions. Collections under the Small Savings Scheme for senior citizens grew by 4 times in May as compared to last year, as per Finance Ministry officials. The fresh mop-up under this scheme was more than 15,000 crores in addition to the existing one. This is also because of revision of maximum limit and rate of interest. My colleague Karishma Sudani brings us the story. Karishma, tell us, what has been the net collection? How will this impact the government's budget estimate?
Well, yes, the Ministry of Finance is happy about the collection under the senior citizen savings schemes for the month of May. In fact, my top sources tell me that the net collection has been close to rupees 24,000 crore, which is 4 times the collection in terms of year-on-year basis and about 85% up on a month-on-month basis. It was rupees 6,000 lakh crore that was collected in the month of May 2022 and close to about 13,000 that has been collected in the month of April, that is 13,000 lakh crore. So the total collection has been at 24 lakh crore and the mop-up in terms of new people joining it has also been good, and clearly this is also because of government's revision of the rate of interest from April 1st, 2023 and also increasing, in fact they put a double the limit in terms of investment into this scheme.
Mughal ruler Aurangzeb has become the big flashpoint in modern-day Maharashtra. After a poster war and riots that followed, a political war of words is now exploding. Asaduddin Owaisi and the Uddhav Sena are accusing the Shinde Sarkar of raking up Aurangzeb ahead of elections.
Political showdown erupts over Mughal ruler Aurangzeb in Maharashtra. 2 days after Hindu right-wing groups went on a rampage in Kolhapur against WhatsApp status hailing Aurangzeb, political parties in the state are accusing each other of inciting riots. The Bharatiya Janata Party has blamed what it calls the Tukde Tukde gang for inciting this vandalism, describing Aurangzeb as a tyrant who committed atrocities against Hindus.
वोट के खातिर कहीं छत्तीसगढ़ में धर्मांतरण, कोल्हापुर में बाबर के औलाद खड़े हो जाते हैं, औरंगजेब के औलाद खड़े हो जाते हैं, भारत के सनातनियों की अस्मिता के साथ खेलते हैं, तो मराठा के लोग तो विरोध करेंगे.
The AIMIM, which is blamed for holding the rally in Ahmednagar where these Aurangzeb posters were flaunted, has accused the BJP in return of orchestrating the riots allegedly in Kolhapur. Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, on the other hand, has called the rioters descendants of Aurangzeb.
सवाल ये उठता है कि अचानक इतने औरंगजेब के औलादे कहां से पैदा हुई, इसके पीछे कौन है, इसका असली मालिक कौन है, ये भी हम ढूंढ के निकालेंगे. कौन जानबूझकर महाराष्ट्र में कानून व्यवस्था खराब हो और महाराष्ट्र का नाम खराब हो, ये करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, ये भी हम ढूंढ के निकालेंगे.
ये कौन सी जबान है एक डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर की, जो चीफ मिनिस्टर था 5 साल के लिए, और जो उसके तरफ के लोग बोलते हैं कि एक दिन वो प्रधानमंत्री भी बन सकता है, वो कह रहा औरंगजेब की औलाद. फिर गोडसे की औलाद कौन है, आप्टे की औलाद कौन है, मदन लाल पावा की औलाद कौन है.
The Shiv Sena Uddhav faction has accused Shinde government of using Aurangzeb as a political tool.
आपका कहना है कि हिंदुत्व खतरे में क्यों पड़ जाता है अगर कोई औरंगजेब का पोर्ट्रेट अगर सर पे
खतरे में नहीं है, उनको लगता है उनका हिंदुत्व बहुत कमजोर है।
तो फिर ऐसे एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट्स को कितनी रियायत दी जाए आपके हिसाब से सर?
ठोक देना चाहिए जैसे यूपी में हो रहा है।
Amid this Aurangzeb face-off, Maharashtra opposition leaders are claiming they are receiving death threats. NCP MP Supriya Sule met Mumbai Police Commissioner to file a complaint. She said her father and party chief Sharad Pawar got threats over WhatsApp.
आदरणीय पवार साहब के नाम से आज मेरे व्हाट्सएप पे ये मैसेज आया है। उनको एक धमकी दी गई है, एक वेबसाइट से दी गई है और वैसी ही धमकी और भी इस रिलेटेड जो अकाउंट्स है इस पे आई है। मेरी विनती रहेगी होम मिनिस्टर से, महाराष्ट्र के भी और देश के भी होम मिनिस्टर से, कि ऐसी जो हरकतें हो रही है ये गंदी घटिया राजनीति है और ये कहाँ भी रुकना चाहिए।
Sanjay Raut's brother, speaking to India Today, also alleged his brother is getting death threats for speaking out on the Aurangzeb issue.
4-4:30 बजे मुझे 3-4 कॉल आ गए
जी,
और उन्होंने उसमें बोला कि संजय राउत साहब उन्होंने फोन उठा नहीं रहे, डर गए। उनको बोलना ज्यादा आवाज करना मत, तुम्हारा सुबह का प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस बंद करो, भोंगा बंद कर दो, नहीं तो तुम्हें और दोनों भाइयों को जल्दी से जल्दी मैं स्मशान भूमि में पहुंचा दूंगा, दोनों को मैं जल्दी से जल्दी गोली से उड़ा दूंगा।
The Maharashtra police has registered 4 FIRs and arrested 36 people for stone pelting, vandalism and rioting in Kolhapur. Aurangzeb has become a political issue in a state that will be crucial for both the BJP and opposition in the upcoming 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, a war over Hegdewar is simmering in Karnataka. The new Congress Sarkar has decided to remove the chapters on the RSS founder from school textbooks. The party says Hegdewar was a coward, not a freedom fighter.
Tipu Sultan, Savarkar, and now Keshav Baliram Hegdewar. The debate over chapters on historic figures in school textbooks continues in Karnataka. And this time, the tables have turned. If the erstwhile BJP government spoke of removing Tipu chapters, the current Congress government is pushing to remove the RSS founder Hedgewar's chapters from school textbooks. The Siddaramaiah government is so resolute on its stand that it won't even wait for the next academic year and will effect these changes immediately.
We have taken our decision very clearly that we are going to take care of the issues which are not necessary in the textbooks from first standard to even 12th also, whatever it is, till 10th. Basically what it looks like they have changed in the interest of children. It is not saffronizing or non-saffronizing or against a party or anything.
And this decision has sparked it, as expected, an all-out Hindutva fight. The BJP's top Karnataka faces are now calling this decision an attempt to wipe out the RSS's role in the freedom movement.
By omitting the chapter on Hedgewar and the RSS, the Congress party also wants to hide the historical truth that when Indira Gandhi tried to impose emergency on this country and throttle democracy and impose dictatorship, it was RSS and RSS leaders who opposed the imposition of emergency and fought for democracy and the rights of the common citizen and the constitution in the country.
I think they would like the topic and the discourse to move away from the progress and the advancement that India has made and the progress that Indians are experiencing to issues of Mohabbat ki Dukaan and all the other Dukans that they are very familiar with.
But the Congress has combated this narrative by calling Hedgewar a coward, citing mercy letters that he allegedly wrote to the British.
ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯವರಾಗಲಿ ಸಂಘ ಪರಿವಾರದವರಾಗಲಿ ಹೆಡ್ಗೆವಾರ್ ಅವರು ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಹೋರಾಟಗಾರರಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರಿಗೆ ಕ್ಷಮಾಪಣೆ ಪತ್ರ 6 ಬಾರಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಅಂತ ಅವರು ಬಹಳ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರದೇ ಆದ ಗ್ರಂಥಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಚಿತ್ರಗುಪ್ತ ಅಂತ ಅವರೇ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರಿಗೆ ಕ್ಷಮಾಪಣೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಂಥ ರಣಹಿಡಿಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಪಠ್ಯಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ.
Mr. Hari Prasad or his party man, never ever they had concern for the country. They had that kind of nation-serving commitment for many of these people. They don't have any moral or ethical rights to talk about Dr. Egdevar. I totally condemn his attitude, his kind of statement, hatredness, vindictiveness. I totally condemn his statement.
The Siddaramaiah government's move to purge chapters from textbooks has kicked off a familiar political storm as the debate rages on over whether history, irrespective of the narrative, can be tweaked or omitted.
The Karnataka Congress government is all set to resolve the textbook row over glorifying RSS leaders, including Hedgewar. On the other side, the BJP has criticized Congress government on this vindictive politics. Amidst the politics over textbook, ultimate sufferers are the students. And many educationists feel that the education of students over the textbook row is getting jeopardized. With video journalist Shivmurthy Sagairas reporting for India Today, Bengaluru.
Former US President Donald Trump has been charged on 7 counts, including willfully retaining national defense secrets in violation of the Espionage Act, making false statements and obstructing justice. This is the first time in the history of the United States that a former president has faced federal charges.
President, would you take some questions?
Donald Trump is indicted once again, the second time in 2 months. First indicted in a hush money scam, the former US president this time is charged for retaining classified government documents. The indictment makes Trump the first ex-president ever to face federal criminal charges. The charges include willful retention of classified government documents, conspiracy to obstruct justice, withholding a document or record, corrupt concealing of a document, concealing a document in a federal investigation, a scheme to conceal, false statements and representations. Already facing several criminal investigations, the indictment of Trump in the classified document case is another setback for him, as he's trying to unseat President Joe Biden in next year's presidential elections. Trump is calling the indictment political vendetta.
I'm an innocent man. I did nothing wrong. And we will fight this out just like we've been fighting for 7 years. It would be wonderful if we could devote our full time to making America great again. And that's exactly what we did. But now, again, our country is in decline. We're a failing nation. And this is what they do. No collusion after 2.5 years that was set up by Hillary Clinton and Democrats. But this is what they do. This is what they do so well. If they would devote their energies to honesty and integrity, it would be a lot better for our country. They could do a lot better. They could do a lot of great things.
The former president was earlier charged with paying hush money to the pornography actress Stormy Daniels to keep their affair a secret. Trump is accused of making false records to show the payment as legal fees. The trial in this case is due March next year, right in the middle of the primary election season. The 2 indictments, however, will not keep Trump away from the presidential poll. Biden administration will try best to seek Trump's conviction. If found guilty, the maximum punishment for Trump in the federal case would be 100 years in prison. The indictment could hurt Trump's goal of returning to the White House for a second time. Bureau Report, India Today.
This is where I wrap up the news track tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.
All right, Chetan, thanks so much for joining us with all the latest on Elon Musk and Tesla. Now, sticking with the auto industry, Maruti Suzuki has rolled out its much-awaited SUV, the Jimny. It's at a price tag of 12.74 lakh rupees. The car will come in 6 variants, with the base model starting at 12.74 lakh, that's ex-showroom. The top-end Alpha AT dual-tone model at 15.05 lakh, ex-showroom. With this, Maruti is aiming for a 25% share of the SUV market in FY24, with volumes close to 475,000 units. The lifestyle SUV, which is pitted directly against the Mahindra Thar and Force Gurkha, will be retailed across all 600 Nexa stores in the country starting today. The man behind the AI revolution is here in India. OpenAI founder and CEO Sam Altman with India's G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant today in New Delhi. The discussions focused on the potential of generative AI and how emerging economies can leverage this to improve the quality of life of citizens. Altman's visit to India is significant as it comes at a time when the country is keenly looking at AI research and development.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mode.
A bold experiment in women's empowerment. A self-help group led by the Panchayat head of Dawa village in Bihar's Bhojpur district has set up a plant to manufacture sanitary napkins. They are not only providing sanitary pads at a low cost to women in rural areas, but also creating employment opportunities for women.
ये जो योजना है ये हम लोगों ने बेसिकली उस वक्त शुरू किया जब कोरोना का दौर चल रहा था, तो ये चीज़ समझा गया कि बाहर जो हमारे यहाँ से महिलाएं जा रही हैं उन लोगों को यहाँ रोका जाए और कुछ ना कुछ एक सोर्स ऑफ अर्निंग बनाई जाए। और हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा औरतों को सैनिटरी जो शब्द है उससे परिचित करवाएं और मेंस्ट्रुएशन साइकिल में जो हम सैनिटरी का यूज़ करते हैं उसकी उनको आदत डलवाएं।
The women go door to door selling sanitary napkins. They spread awareness among villagers about menstrual hygiene.
जो बच्ची किशोरियां हैं वो लेना नहीं जानती थी पहले, जिसे उनके माँ बाप यूज नहीं कराते थे उसको, क्योंकि महिलाओं को जानकारी नहीं था। तो इसलिए बच्ची बोलती है तो क्या है, जो आज के डेट में किशोरी बच्ची स्कूल पढ़ रही हैं, इसी की वजह से बाल किशोरी को पता चलता है कि ये पीरियड आने पर सबसे अच्छा महत्वपूर्ण सैनिटरी पैड है।
The unit in Dawa makes 4,000 to 5,000 sanitary pads a day. Their product, branded as Sanghini, is available in markets in villages and towns in the district. Bureau Report, India Today.
Co-presented by Star Health Insurance, the health insurance specialist.
Co-presented by Kentaro, जो देता है सबसे शुद्ध पानी. Co-presented by JK Tyre Ranger Series. Stay wild at heart.
Good evening, viewers. You're watching News Today at 9 p.m. I'm Preeti Choudhry. Every once in a way,
India's medieval history comes knocking back. This time around, it's the state of Maharashtra. Just a few months ago, it was Karnataka. Before that, it was Banaras, Varanasi. Our talking points this evening: Aurangzeb politics in Maharashtra. Who gains politically from Aurangzeb? All of that coming up through the course of the next 45 minutes. Let me first take you through the headlines. After Fadnavis, Aurangzeb ki aulad jibe, Owaisi's Godse ki aulad attack on Fadnavis accuses BJP of defaming Islam in Maharashtra. Political war over Congress government's plan to revise Karnataka textbooks and remove Hedgewar chapters. BJP lashes out at Siddaramaiah government. Congress claims RSS founder wrote mercy letters to British. There's been a twist in Mumbai's murder case. Accused Manoj and victim Saraswati had gotten married in a temple. Sources suggest accused shows no remorse, not cooperating in the probe as well. 4 days after baseball player Sanjana died by suicide in Jabalpur, the police have arrested the accused Abdul. The police say he posed as a Hindu to lure the girl. Probe into blackmail angle as well. International wrestling referee says he saw a female athlete push away Brij Bhushan Singh as she got uncomfortable. The Delhi police also recreate the crime scene at WFI boss Delhi office. TMC MP Abhishek Banerjee refuses to appear before the ED on the coal scam, calls someone a ploy to distract him from panchayat polls. S. Jaishankar slams foreign attack. Raga says criticizing India abroad and seeking intervention is a big cause of concern and can have serious implications for India. Congress dismisses report of Sachin Pilot floating his own party as rumour. Congress General Secretary K.C. Venugopal says no rift in Rajasthan, will fight polls united. And Trump indicted in classified documents case, first ex-US president to face federal criminal charges. Trump alleges greatest witch hunt of all times. Our top story, the latest flashpoint coming in. Maharashtra has unraveled into an Aurangzeb ki aulad now versus Godse ki aulad showdown. After Aurangzeb posters and WhatsApp statuses glorifying the Mughal ruler sent Kolhapur practically to the edge, the ruling BJP and the opposition are now locked in a war of words and politics. But who is fueling the Aurangzeb fire and who could actually benefit from it? Here's the full report.
Political showdown erupts over Mughal ruler Aurangzeb in Maharashtra. 2 days after Hindu right-wing groups went on a rampage in Kolhapur against WhatsApp status hailing Aurangzeb, political parties in the state are accusing each other of inciting riots. The Bharatiya Janata Party has blamed what it calls the Tukde Tukde gang for inciting this vandalism, describing Aurangzeb as a tyrant who committed atrocities against Hindus.
वोट के खातिर कहीं छत्तीसगढ़ में धर्मांतरण, कोल्हापुर में बाबर के औलाद खड़े हो जाते हैं, औरंगजेब के औलाद खड़े हो जाते हैं, भारत के सनातनियों की अस्मिता के साथ खेलते हैं, तो मराठा के लोग तो विरोध करेंगे.
The AIMIM, which is blamed for holding the rally in Ahmednagar where these Aurangzeb posters were flaunted, has accused the BJP in return of orchestrating the riots allegedly in Kolhapur. Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, on the other hand, has called the rioters descendants of Aurangzeb.
सवाल ये उठता है कि अचानक इतने औरंगजेब के औलादे कहां से पैदा हुई, इसके पीछे कौन है, इसका असली मालिक कौन है, ये भी हम ढूंढ के निकालेंगे. कौन जानबूझकर महाराष्ट्र में कानून व्यवस्था खराब हो और महाराष्ट्र का नाम खराब हो, ये करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, ये भी हम ढूंढ के निकालेंगे।
ये कौन सी जबान है एक डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर की, जो चीफ मिनिस्टर था 5 साल के लिए, और जो उसके अतराफ के लोग बोलते हैं कि एक दिन वो प्रधानमंत्री भी बन सकता है, वो कह रहा औरंगजेब की औलाद। फिर गोडसे की औलाद कौन है, आप्टे की औलाद कौन है, मदन लाल पावा की औलाद कौन है?
The Shiv Sena Uddhav faction has accused Shinde government of using Aurangzeb as a political tool.
आपका कहना है कि हिंदुत्व खतरे में क्यों पड़ जाता है अगर कोई औरंगजेब का पोर्ट्रेट अगर सर पे
खतरे में नहीं है, उनको लगता है उनका हिंदुत्व बहुत कमजोर है।
तो फिर ऐसे एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट्स को कितनी रियायत दी जाए आपके हिसाब से सर?
ठोक देना चाहिए, जैसे यूपी में हो रहा है।
Amid this Aurangzeb face-off, Maharashtra opposition leaders are claiming they are receiving death threats. NCP MP Supriya Sule met Mumbai Police Commissioner to file a complaint. She said her father and party chief Sharad Pawar got threats over WhatsApp.
आदरणीय पवार साहब के नाम से आज मेरे व्हाट्सएप पे ये मैसेज आया है। उनको एक धमकी दी गई है, एक वेबसाइट से दी गई है, और वैसी ही धमकी और भी इस रिलेटेड जो अकाउंट्स है इस पे आई है। मेरी विनती रहेगी होम मिनिस्टर से, महाराष्ट्र के भी और देश के भी होम मिनिस्टर से, कि ऐसी जो हरकतें हो रही है ये गंदी घटिया राजनीति है और ये कहाँ भी रुकना चाहिए।
Sanjay Raut's brother, speaking to India Today, also alleged his brother is getting death threats for speaking out on the Aurangzeb issue.
4 साढ़े 4 बजे मुझे 3-4 कॉल आ गए
जी,
और उन्होंने उसमें बोला कि संजय राउत साहब उन्होंने फोन उठा नहीं रहे, डर गए। उनको बोलना ज्यादा आवाज करना मत, तुम्हारा सुबह का प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस बंद करो, भोंगा बंद कर दो, नहीं तो तुम्हें और दोनों भाइयों को जल्दी से जल्दी मैं स्मशान भूमि में पहुंचा दूंगा, दोनों को मैं जल्दी से जल्दी गोली से उड़ा दूंगा।
The Maharashtra police has registered 4 FIRs and arrested 36 people for stone pelting, vandalism and rioting in Kolhapur. Aurangzeb has become a political issue in a state that will be crucial for both the BJP and opposition in the upcoming 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Bureau Report, India Today.
So like I said at the beginning, viewers, India's medieval history has come knocking back on India's doorstep, this time in Maharashtra with the face of Aurangzeb. But who gains from Aurangzeb politics is the question that we ask this evening. BJP banking on Hindutva to blunt Uddhav Thackeray's politics. And will Hindutva vote be split in Maharashtra, especially when it comes down to the Lok Sabha elections next year? Let me quickly take you through our guests this evening. Our panelists, Shweta Shalini, BJP spokesperson, Clyde Crasto, NCP spokesperson, Rahul Srivastava, our National Affairs editor, Sahil Joshi, Mumbai Bureau Chief. Cutting across to Sahil in just about a minute, but let's begin right now with Rahul Srivastava first. Rahul, you know, if we just take a look at Maharashtra, in the last 3 months, there have been 3 incidents, all of them communal, where you look at it, relating to a mosque, a temple, social media. There seems to be a shift in narrative where Maharashtra is concerned, where communal politics is at play. Why do you think this is happening, and who really stands to benefit from it politically?
Preeti, the issues for the backyards of history are out for the future. If you look at Maharashtra, you said 3 incidents. Yeah, Sahil will tell you better. I think there have been something close to 10 incidents now in the last 4 months, if you add the 3-4 incidents which have happened, minor though, but they have happened. The crisis here is a battle which can be called Hindutva versus Hindutva battle. Till the last elections, you had 2 major claimants for the Hindu vote, and that was the BJP and the Shiv Sena. The change which has happened post the split in the Shiv Sena and the BJP and the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena parting ways is there are virtually 4 claimants to the Hindu vote now. And that has led to a series of incidents and developments all over the states. One may look at communal flare-ups. Now, let me recount 50 odd religious functions have been, rallies have been held between November to March 2023. These are Hindutva thing, or largely bordering around love jihad and land jihad. That's a new term emerging in Maharashtra, where the allegation is non-Hindus are being given Hindu lands. Then there is a demand for socio-economic boycott of Muslims. You could recall what happened vis-a-vis Triambakeshwar, where some tradition was there that Muslim youths used to go for fragrance there, and there was an uproar over that, and then there was trouble. Then Shraddha Walkar case. In the post-Shraddha Walkar case, you had a lot of trouble in several places in the name of love jihad. Osmanabad and Aurangabad districts were renamed. That led to a problem. Now, if you see, it's very akin to what was happening between 1990 and 1992, when Advaniji started his Rath Yatra. There was that Hindu aggression which had stepped in. The key here is that what we are seeing right now, I will say, the seeds have been sown earlier. The machinery is now being put in place, and I think activation will start happening, or has started happening.
Well, activation
it's not just Lok Sabha. One point, that it's not just Lok Sabha, it is also the October 2023 likely Brihan Mumbai municipal elections.
Likely, Rahul Srivastav, because, every 2 months is a new date when it comes down to the BMC elections there. But I want to bring in Sahil into the conversation, then we'll cut across to our political guests. Sahil, much has changed in the Maharashtra political landscape after the split of the Shiv Sena. But the question that I was asking Rahul, the incident in Kolhapur, from be it Aurangzeb ki aulad versus Godse ki aulad, all of that is peripheral and surface. If you look and dig deep down, in my current memory, 3 incidents back to back, communal violence, communal flare-up, be it a temple, mosque and social media, all 3 of them, the genesis of that were these 3 things. All 3 of them deeply politicized, and now with the latest that we are seeing in Kolhapur as well. There is also heavy politics that is being played at the back, and understandably so, to leverage maximum when it comes down to the Hindutva vote. Who do you see that stands to benefit from it?
Well, sometimes I have started thinking that it's not even a big guesswork now that the elections are approaching, and such kind of small incidences turning into a big incidents happens. I would like to recount at least 6 incidences in last 4 months. The first one from Aurangabad, which now the city has been changed to Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. There it all started first on 31st of March. The second incident, what I can see here, is in Akola. Again, because of the social media post, there was a Hindu-Muslim riot situation happened in Akola. Then it was Trambakeshwar, which Rahul was mentioning. Then it was Ahmednagar, and now it is Kolhapur. Now, interestingly, specifically with respect to the Kolhapur incidents. Now, what happens? I would like to elaborate that.
Sahil.
Yeah, beat today.
Yeah, so that's another exactly the same. Yes.
Yeah, so I would like to recount the Kolhapur incident, just to give you a brief what exactly happened, how I feel sometimes that certain things are being blown out of proportion. First, this particular social media post, it's not even a social media post, it was a WhatsApp status, which people realized that